Hi, I'm Megan Richardson. I'm the VP of Consulting with Dynamic Corporate Solutions, and I'm happy to be taking a few minutes today to unbox our HR Toolkit. So the HR Toolkit is based off of 25 years of experience in human resources, and it's filled with both your legal compliance as well as your HR best practices, and we've organized it as such. So you're going to receive a USB drive with all of this information on it, but for today's purposes and unboxing, I thought a box might be helpful. So the first folder that you're going to find is going to tell you a little bit about the HR Toolkit. It's going to talk to you about the best uses for the HR Toolkit and provide you with a master list that's going to give you basically a map to every single document that's contained within the drive. It's a great thing to print off and stick on a bulletin board so that you can find it really easily. That way you're not going out and recreating a wheel. Hey, I need a PTO form. Boom, we've already got one for you. Okay, the second piece is going to be compliance, and this is going to be one of our largest and most important folders. So I will tell you, everything in the HR Toolkit is important, but the way that we've organized it, we start from kind of maybe most important to least important, or as I like to say, this first half can get you sued, the back half can't. So you determine what's going to be important for you. So that's going to provide you with a compliance checklist, which is kind of like an internal HR assessment or an internal audit. And it provides you with a list of just simple yes or no quick questions. And then you either put a check here or a check there, whether it's based off of a legal compliance or it's based off of an HR best practice. Yes, I have this, or no, I don't. So at the end of the day, what you have is a completed checklist. They provide you with a guide for priorities. Where should I spend my time? Let's make sure it's on those legal compliance issues before we start tackling HR best practices. The second piece is going to be equally as important, which is going to be wage and hour. So the Department of Labor says that 70% of American businesses don't have wage and hour laws in place. So we want to make sure that all of our exempt folks really should be exempt, and our non-exempt folks that we're paying them properly with overtime calculations and the like. So we provided you with great lists of questions to ask, commonly misclassified jobs, and provide you with guidance documents on how to classify those positions. We also have information on independent contractors. Again, Department of Labor hired about 100 new investigators a couple of years ago specifically to look into independent contractors. So if you are currently using ICs, are they really independent contractors? Do they only work for you? Are they coming into the office? Do they have a set schedule? Are they utilizing your tools like a computer that you bought? These are all things that could jeopardize that independent contractor status. State statutes are going to be key. So each individual state is going to have their own set of employment rules and laws that you're going to have to comply with. And if you have employees in multiple states, you have to comply with all of them, lucky you. So you want to make sure that you're aware of every little nuance of what's going to be different in Georgia versus Alaska versus California versus Hawaii. And what we've done is we've broken this down so it's a really easy read to make sure that you're understanding all of the requirements that you have, and it provides you with a nice little summary document. We also have posters under compliance. So typically, you have those poster companies that call and harass you and say for only $400 a year, only $250 a year, they give you that nice shiny poster. I'm going to let you in on a little HR secret. The posters are free. Okay, the posters are available for you. We're giving them to you right here. All you have to do is find a bulletin board and tack them up and you're good to go. So if you're thinking about a cost savings measure, get rid of that laminated poster company. Really easy to do. All right, let's look at what's next. The dreaded employee handbook. I can't tell you how many clients I work with who spend weeks and months, and a client that I spoke with last year, years trying to develop a decent employee handbook. What we provided for you here is a fabulous template. It's vetted through an employment attorney, so we know that everything is top notch. And you can go in and drop in, we have XYZ company provides, da-da-da-da-da. You do a simple find and replace with your company name, your company logo. You tweak a couple of things like a PTO policy or a bereavement policy, and boom, you're good to go. You can have a brand new employee handbook that is completely compliant within your organization in a week. Imagine how great that would be. Be able to check that off your list. All right, next is going to be job descriptions. So we provide 7 sample job descriptions at your request. We do have a couple of different industries such as hospitality, federal contractors, HVAC that we can provide to you. But we do provide 7, and they're samples that you can use. So of course the job descriptions that we've provided to you aren't going to be exactly the jobs that you have. But what you can do is you can take the language that we've used. Maybe you don't have a customer service person, even though we have a customer service job description for you. But you can take the language from the customer service job description and you can apply it to maybe like a receptionist who has to have that great customer service, outlook and personality. So you can still utilize the language. The other great piece about these job descriptions is that they are ADA compliant, so Americans with Disabilities Act, and that's going to help you to mitigate risk. I will tell you, job descriptions, they are the unsung hero of the HR world, okay? You can't hire somebody if you don't know what the job is, right? You can't pay them properly if you don't know what the job is. You can't hold them accountable for not doing the job if you don't know what the job is. And you certainly can't fire somebody for doing the job if you don't know what the job is. So defining each position is going to be key to your success in your business. So job descriptions are ADA compliant. They talk about the physical, mental requirements for each position. So you want to make sure that you utilize those. The next piece is going to be payroll, which is relatively small. That's going to give you some sample timesheets if you don't have a time reporting system in place. Also gives you a nice salary progression. If you don't have a really strong HRIS system, these tools can save you a ton of time. Performance management is going to be our next category, and it talks about, again, kind of the disciplinary action. So here we're giving you tips and tricks of how to have disciplinary action conversations, what to say, what not to say, which is pretty important, maybe more important than what to say, how to say it, when to say it. We provide you with disciplinary action forms that you can use as samples. We fill one out for you so you can see how we would do it. All this information is provided to you. The second piece of performance management that we're going to provide to you is going to be kind of the annual performance review forms. So we have 3 that we've provided to you. We've got an administrative kind of / professional. We have a blue collar, and then we also have a management. So because you're asking different things of different groups of employees, right? So you want to have one that's tailored for each. A relatively recent addition to the HR Toolkit, because we're always, improving and growing and adding new things to it. Something we just added is going to be a quarterly review form. So we know that, especially with millennials who are going to be 50% of our workforce in the next year and a half, crazy, we know they need a little bit more love and affection, right? We know they like a little bit more of a constant praise. So in order to help motivate that group, right? We know that we're moving that way. In order to help motivate that group, we need to give them more than once a year feedback. Fortune 500 companies are doing this monthly. Tech companies are doing this weekly. I know some of you out there are shuddering even thinking about doing weekly performance reviews, but we're really hoping we can get everybody to quarterly. So we provided you with an easy to use form so that you can do that. All right, we also have information on when that disciplinary action does not work. Moving on to termination, right? So we have information on, how to hire someone. We also have information on how to fire someone, right? So we talked a little bit about, how to recruit someone. This is also information on how to let them go. We also have termination checklists to make sure that you haven't forgotten about anything, as well as the information you need regarding COBRA. Here we are with employment forms. So this is going to be information you need as far as interview and selection is concerned. So making sure that you're getting the right person in, especially those frontline supervisors. If you don't interview all of the time, it's not a kind of a skill that people can just pick up real easily. It's developed over time. So again, 25 years worth of experience is going to go into these questions. And certainly anybody can go out and Google interview questions. That's easy to do. But what we've done is we provided competency-based questions. So, you don't, again, need to ask your receptionist all about her education, right? She doesn't have to have an MBA to answer the phone. But what she does have to have is reliability, right? You need somebody 8 a.m. every single morning answering that phone, right? And she does have to have a really good customer service background, right? So she's friendly and she's, eager to greet people, and people get a great first impression of your business, right? So you want to make sure that you're catering your interview questions directly to the position. Again, you gotta have a job description to do that, don't you? So interviews and selections, we also talk about employment tests, so making sure that you're compliant under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. There are 3 forms and some legal requirements that you have to follow under the Fair Credit Reporting Act if you're running background checks. Background checks do fall under a credit reporting federal act, so you want to make sure that you are legally compliant and that you're following the pre-adverse and adverse action process. We also have a section for safety and health. Safety and health is going to cover not only a great sample safety policy, but also a lot of information on workers' compensation as well as your state reporting forms. For organization-wide, we provided all of our HR forms to you in one nice folder. So if you need a quick search on the Jump Drive, every single form is going to be provided here, because again, our information, the HR Toolkit, is going to be best practice as well as applicability. So not everything is a form. Some are sample documents, some have narrative. This is going to provide you with every single form, one nice clean folder. This is information on our HR helpline. So part of the Toolkit subscription, you get what I call the trifecta. So you're going to get all of this great intellectual material, but in addition to that, you also get a monthly update. It's going to keep this fresh and current, right? Because you can buy this today and tomorrow it could be out of date. So you want to make sure that you're staying up to date. So first business day of every month, you're going to receive an email from us. It's going to have a great newsletter, which is going to talk about court cases that we've seen. We also have a great manager's corner that kind of gives tips based off of the time of year. And then as well, if anything has changed, if there's a new poster, there's a new policy, we need to change some verbiage, we're going to push that out to you. So you can stop reading all those 8 million emails that you get from lawyers' offices, right? Trying to keep you up to date on things. We got you covered. We're going to do that for you. In addition to, again, intellectual material, monthly update, you also have access to all of our trainings. Now we do have live trainings which happen here in the greater Jacksonville metro area, but we also do trainings throughout the Southeast, as well as at least 4 webinars a month. So all of those webinars are certified through both SHRM and HRCI. So if you're looking for continuing education credits, boom, covered, got you covered. And then the third piece is going to be the HR helpline, and that's staffed by only nationally certified senior HR folks. And we have what's called an automatic call distributor, which basically means that we have a number of folks who staff the helpline, and if one person can't ring, then it rings and it rings and it rings until you get an actual live human being every single time you call. Can you imagine picking up the phone and not having to talk to a machine or press a button to get to a human who can answer your question? You're going to pick up the phone and it'll be me, possibly. But you have unlimited number of calls, so you call me once or you call me 400 times, it's still only $99 per month. So this is all information on the HR helpline. Our hours of operation are 8 to 6 Eastern time, Monday through Friday, although I have been known to pick up an emergency call on the weekend when something crazy is happening. And this tells you, again, you can contact us either email or phone, whatever's easiest for you. Finally, we talked a little bit about employment files. So we give you all the great record retention checklist. How long do you have to keep all of that junk, right? Both federally and based on your individual state. We also offer recommendations on how you should be structuring your employee files. So what we recommend is kind of twofold. One is going to be an employment file and one is going to be a confidential file. So that confidential file should only be viewed by human resources and someone who possibly has to do payroll, right? So it's all that super secret information. It's social security numbers, it's medical information, anything along those lines. Your employment file is anything that you're okay with your supervisor seeing. So that's going to be new hire packet, that's going to be, raises, that's going to be performance reviews, all of that's there. And we've provided you with great checklists here as a way to organize so that you know every time you open up this file folder, W4 is going to be there waiting for you. Does anyone out there have those employee files that are in manila folders and they're like, tick, 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 let me see if I can find something that I need, tick, 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 and how long does that take? So this is a great way to organize, and again, make sure that you have everything that you need for every single employee. So the HR Toolkit is really designed for someone who needs that extra HR help. Now, whether you're a small business and you don't have, a dedicated HR person, and you need to make sure that you have all the pieces in place and need that extra hand with infrastructure, the HR Toolkit's a great fit for you. Or if you're a larger business and you have a lot of folks and you just need to make sure that you're receiving those updates on a regular basis, and you need time savers, because this is absolutely going to save you a ton of time. So please visit our website at www.dynamiccorp.com to purchase or to ask us for additional information. Thanks so much.